Thank you. Good morning. My name is Jayme, and I serve as the Mentor Network Coordinator for Welcome to a New Life. Our mission is to provide mentorship and resources for adults who are involved in the Hancock County or Fostoria criminal justice system, helping them to achieve crime-free, drug-free, productive lives. It's an honor to be here with you today in Fostoria as your church leans into this year's theme, Devoted, and this summer's focus, Devoted to Faith. My journey into this work began with my own story, and later with my son's. God was shaping me for the work I get to do now. For 12 years, I worked as a labor and delivery nurse. I taught childbirth ed. I taught CPR. I loved my job. It was rewarding, and I was good at it. I was married, raising a family, co-leading the local moms group, volunteering at my kids' schools, and living what looked like a stable, successful life. I was respected and even admired in the community. Being a nurse, I thought I understood addiction until it happened to me. What began as treatment for minor pain led to an opiate prescription, and quietly, I became dependent on the very medication that was meant to help me. Addiction didn't announce itself or arrive with a warning. It began influencing my decisions long before I understood what was happening. Looking back, I can't explain how I went from point A, a simple prescription, to point B, a full-blown addiction that hijacked my morals. I made choices I never imagined. I lost my marriage. I lost the job I loved. I was charged with a felony. I went from being a respected nurse and member of the community to someone looked down on and pushed to the side. I carried so much shame and guilt. I thought that my life would never amount to anything again. But by God's grace and sacrifice, I was given another chance. My faith saved my life. During that addiction, through my recovery, and through every loss that followed. God didn't just give me faith. He gave me people. A network of women from my church stepped up. They mentored me. They sat with me in my shame. They reminded me that God wasn't finished with me yet. Their devotion helped me have the strength and the courage to rebuild my life. Today I stand here with a clean background and over 14 years of sobriety from the opiates that nearly destroyed my life. Thank you. Unfortunately, my story didn't stop with my recovery. Addiction continued to rob me. I lost 2 brothers, one to an overdose, one to cirrhosis from alcoholism. I lost my sister-in-law to an overdose. And then in 2022, my faith was truly shaken when I lost my son, Andrew. Andrew's story is different because today's world is different. Andrew lived an extraordinary life. He was a bull rider, the real deal. He traveled the United States, transporting horses and riding in rodeos. He lived a life most people only dream about. He even appeared in an episode of Yellowstone. He was strong, talented, charismatic, one of those people you knew would just make their mark on the world. And he did. But addiction doesn't discriminate. In today's time, fentanyl is everywhere. It's widely used and quickly replaces prescription opiates in addiction. It takes over fast. It doesn't care who you are, how successful you are, or how strong you are. When addiction overtook Andrew's life, his world changed overnight. The mistakes he made in his illness came with criminal charges and consequences. Consequences that limited his ability to travel, to work, to ride. Everything he once loved was suddenly out of reach. His identity, his passion, his purpose, all of it felt like it was slipping away. People looked at him so differently. And with that came shame, a shame so heavy he could barely breathe, a shame that convinced him he was beyond redemption, a shame that told him he had ruined everything. That shame was suffocating, and in that place of despair, he gave in to his demons and used. Only this time was the last time. As much as I prayed for a different outcome for my son, Jesus took him home on December 8th, 2022, the day after his 28th birthday. Through every loss, my brothers, my sister-in-law, my son, my faith carried me. It held me when nothing else could. It kept me standing when grief tried to take me down. It kept me devoted to hope, devoted to healing, devoted to the belief that God still redeems. Being devoted to faith isn't just about belief. It's about action. It's about compassion. It's about stepping into someone's life when they feel unworthy, ashamed, or alone. Devotion is presence. Devotion is staying when it's hard. Devotion is believing in redemption even when the world says it's impossible. It's believing in forgiveness and more chances. I'm standing here today because someone was devoted to faith and devoted to me. God led me to stand here in front of this congregation and share how I'm living out my devotion in my career. Welcome to a New Life has been serving individuals rebuilding their lives after addiction, crime, and even incarceration for over 7 years. We've seen transformation again and again. We've watched men and women go from homelessness to stability, from addiction to recovery, from isolation to community, from hopelessness to purpose. We've seen mentees get jobs, reunite with family, complete treatment, earn back trust, and build lives that they once thought were impossible. This happens because trained volunteer mentors show up week after week. It happens because someone chooses to be devoted to faith in a way that someone else can feel. It happens because mentors listen, encourage, pray, celebrate progress, and most importantly, stay. Our mentors are not perfect people. They're not always people with lived experience. They're present people. And presence changes lives. It's one thing when your family and your friends show up, but a stranger, that's different. So you may have seen the empty seat beside me when you came in today. This empty seat represents a person in your community who is ready for a mentor. It represents the seat waiting to be filled by someone devoted to faith. It represents the truth that transformation happens in relationships. Right now in Fostoria, we have individuals stepping into the program who need someone to sit in that empty seat beside them. When I see that seat, I'm reminded of the many times I felt alone before someone showed up to support me. I'm reminded of my son and his hopelessness. Today, I want to invite you to consider filling one of those empty seats. We provide training, resources, ongoing support, and a community of mentors who walk the journey together. If God is stirring something in you, a nudge, a curiosity, a tug, I'd love to talk with you after the service. Your devotion to faith may be exactly what someone needs to begin again. As you continue your summer focus on being devoted to faith, I hope you'll consider how devotion can look like a simple, courageous yes, a yes that fills an empty seat, honors God, and opens the door to a new life. Other ways that you can help are through prayer, spreading awareness, inviting me to speak in your small circles, and of course, donation. Thank you again for welcoming me, and thank you for being a church that believes in redemption. Thank you for being a church devoted to faith.